Hello, and welcome to my review of the Fandu Backlund Championship belt. As an old school wrestling fan and a fan of title belts in general, this particular belt always fascinated me enough that I wanted to see clearer photos of it, but never quite enough to where I would have been willing to spend the money I would have needed to pay for a historically accurate replica. So imagine my joy when I discovered that a website called FanduBelts.com not only made replicas of the Backlund belt, but were having an incredible sale for what they referred to as a minor flawed or imperfect Backlund belt, which essentially meant that you might find a slight stain or discoloration in the plating, but that was about it. I wasted little time and I ordered an all-gold, imperfect Backlund belt. Now, those who are familiar with the earliest variants of what we now know as World Wrestling Entertainment will have no doubt heard of the late great Pedro Morales. Well, in 1971, during his reign as WWF champion, he had been sporting a rather lackluster belt that many have argued was perhaps the ugliest belt in the history of the promotion. So it stands to reason that a new one needed to be made. In comes a new design crafted by Nikita Mulkovich in 1972 that would serve as a template for future belts leading into 1983. Pedro, still the champion, would debut the new belt with the center plate displaying an eagle for the very first time. Morales' new belt had a red strap and gold plates, but the eagle that was on the front of the belt was silver, and the wings were shaped differently. By the time Stan Stasiak held the belt, the eagle had changed in shape, its wings spreading up more, and it had gone from silver to gold. And in the earliest photos of Stasiak and his successor, Bruno Sammartino, red letters were clearly visible on the center plate, but the paint would eventually disappear, leaving the plate all gold except for the gems. This would be the prevailing style throughout the title reigns of superstar Billy Graham, and the last man to hold this particular style of championship belt, the eponymous Bob Backlund. But for me, it's hard not to think of this as the superstar / Backlund belt, because up until that point, no one had displayed the championship belt quite as prominently or proudly as superstar Billy Graham. The belt was a central part of Graham's character, and though he was by all accounts a transitional champion, he wasn't the placeholder that Stasiak was with his 9-day reign. Graham would hold the Worldwide Wrestling Federation's top prize just shy of 300 days.
I am the champion. I am the greatest. I am the strongest. This is my belt. I got the proof, baby. I'm the man, the hour, the man with the power. Too sweet to be sour.
But whether you think of this belt as the Bob Backlund belt or the belt of any of the other champions who preceded him, there's no denying that Bob Backlund left an enduring legacy as a fighting champion, taking on all comers, even if that meant cross-promotional title defenses. And he did this for almost 6 years. But hey, that was then, this is now. I promised you a belt review, so let's get to it. So this belt was shipped from mainland China to my Massachusetts office in just about a week's time through DHL. And as anxious as I was to receive this thing, I gotta say, DHL got it here lightning fast, and I'm so grateful for that. I don't have too many belts, so this is kind of a big deal for me. Alright, here we go. You can hear the bubble wrap. Wow, this thing's heavy. Wow. God, I can't wait to unwrap this. Here we go. The big reveal. And wow. This is nice. Oh my God. Ooh, wow, look at these things. Man, these things shine like nothing I've ever seen before. This is crazy. Amazing. I can't get over how thick this center eagle is, and the detail involved in the wings and the crown above his head and all the whole belt. It's just insane. All right, so first impressions. It's it's definitely a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. And right out of the box, I'm almost overwhelmed by the polished shine and the gleaming brilliance of the gold plates. The etchings in all the plates and the intricate details are what I think are making the belt look so amazing right now, because the artificial lights under which I'm getting my first look at this belt are really giving it a lustrous and dazzling appearance. What I'll do is I'll try to incorporate shots of this belt out in natural sunlight as well, just to see the difference between the two light sources, see if details become clearer or not once I'm outdoors. As you can see, I went with the red backing and the blue strap on the front. Now, it should be noted that the rivets that you see on each plate aren't the actual points that connect the plates to the strap, like they were in the original belt. In fact, if you pull one of these plates back just a little, you can see that the actual connection point is further in than what the rivet would have you believe. So even though you have 6 artificial rivets, what you actually have holding this together are 5 screws per side plate. For the gems, they offer all clear, all blue, all red, or you can get red on the top and clear on the sides, or the combination that I wound up going with, which was blue on the top and clear on the sides. And as for the lettering on the plates, personally, I much prefer seeing the words in gold, as we see here, as opposed to seeing them painted red. There's no hate, it's just a matter of personal preference. Alright, so as I'm scanning this belt over, trying my utmost to keep my drool at bay, let me run down the tail of the tape on this incredible belt, pulled directly from FanduBelts.com. So according to Fandu's website, we are looking at an 8-pound belt that's 56 inches long with a curved main plate that measures a little over 8 1/3 inches tall by 12 inches across, with side plates that are 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches and a whopping 8 millimeters thick. That is a beast of a belt. Now that we've had a chance to look over and really appreciate the details that went into crafting the center plate, details such as the majestic eagle, the crown, the grapplers above the crown, the flag above that, the lettering, and the gems, let's take a look at the side plates, starting with Japan. Not gonna lie, the Japan plate's a bit of a mystery to me. The design is an obvious representation of Buddha, I know that much, but I was struggling with what to call the shiny oval below him. My online research got me nowhere, and in asking around, the consensus seems to be that the oval shape below Buddha is meant to be some kind of an offering plate, and well, I get nothing better than that, so I'm calling it an offering plate, unless someone in the comment section corrects me. If you know, by all means, please fill me in. So I tried to research what the significance was for the design of the Italy side plate, but honestly, I got nothing. All I know is it's the head and torso of a muscular man. Perhaps it's a wrestler, perhaps it's Bruno, I honestly don't know. And to be frank, I'm not even 100% sure of what it is I'm looking at in the character's right hand. My best guess is that it's a serpent, but why he'd be holding a serpent and what appears to be a long flowing flag on a pole is anybody's guess. If you're watching this video and you do know, please tell us in the comment section. The design chosen for the France side plate appears to be a coat of arms of some sort, though my online research produced nothing that looked like what's depicted here. So what I'm seeing here is the image of 2 men in the center, either grappling or, I don't know, waltzing. Though for the sake of this video, let's assume the former. We've got stallions on either side, we've got a third stallion on top, and ribbons that could have had words etched on them, but they don't. I guess I'll just have to be content with calling it a French coat of arms and move on. Up next is the side plate for England, with this majestic lion as its centerpiece. Now, I'm nowhere near an expert on England, though I do know that lions are frequently depicted in English heraldry, sculptures, sites of national importance. Now, what inspired Malkovich to design the England plate with a lion? I honestly have no idea. It could have been from King Henry I, otherwise known as the Lion of England. Could have been Richard the Lionheart. Again, I really don't know, but feel free to leave a comment if you do. Next, we come to the Israel side plate, and its centerpiece, which is a 7-branch candelabra known as a menorah. The seven-branch menorah is a common and very old symbol of Judaism. It's seen in artwork, carvings, and synagogue decorations all over the world, so it's no surprise that they went with this as the design for the Israel plate. Next, we come to Canada, and without question, the Canada plate is the most detailed and, as such, the most impressive. And this isn't just the Canadian coat of arms. This is a near-perfect replica of it, though you can't really tell from the artificial light, so let's move this into sunlight. Now, as you can see, the details are far easier to discern, and they're amazingly accurate, starting at the top with the crown, the lion, and the two flags. From there we move to the analyst behind the shield, which bears the motto of the Order of Canada, Desiderantes Meliorem Patriam, meaning they desire a better country. This is a phrase taken directly from the Bible in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 16. Below that, you can very clearly make out another set of Latin words, Amare usque ad mare. This is Canada's national motto, and it means from sea to sea. This phrase is likewise taken from the Bible in the book of Psalms, chapter 72, verse 8. It's not much to look at under artificial lights, but if you bring this out into the natural sunlight, these details really pop out. But for all the fawning that I've done over this belt up until now, and it is deserving of all the praise I've given it, there are a couple of things that, for lack of a better term, didn't sit quite right with me. My first issue was with how the edge of the eagle just kind of flattens out and fits onto the center plate, almost cookie cutter style, but leaving a noticeable gap between the eagle and the plate upon which it's mounted. The other issue I have with this belt is the same issue that afflicted most of the Malkovich belts after Pedro Morales' Silver Eagle belt, and that's with the tip of the eagle's wing covering the letter G in heavyweight. And lastly, I said at the top of this video that this was what the Fandu website referred to as an imperfect Backlund belt. So if you're wondering, okay, well, what was imperfect about this one, then you're not alone. You see, when I first got this belt and I looked it over, I thought that the thing that made this imperfect would stick out like a sore thumb. Well, not only did it not, but to this day I can only take an educated guess as to what relegated this belt to the imperfect pile, and in a word, I believe it was the strap. The plates seem just fine to me, but there are markings on the strap, most noticeably the lines visible here, what appears to be attempted hole punches in a few spots, namely here, and the minor scuffs on the back of the belt here. And that's literally it. That's all I could find to complain about. Everything else looks, well, perfect. In summary, if you are the type of belt collector who demands authentic accuracy to the original belt's design, then this is not the belt for you. That's just me being honest. Because to buy a Fandu Backlund Championship belt is, at least in my humble opinion, to buy the cleanest, sharpest, thickest, heaviest, and most beautiful interpretation of the Malkovich design. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for accuracy when it comes to replica belts, but if we're being honest about the original Stasiak, San Martino, Graham, Backlund belt, then we have to acknowledge its flaws. Its crooked rivets, its lightweight thin plates, its somewhat lumpy overall appearance, its lackluster side plates, and the two rivets that quite literally pierce the eagle's wings. With the Fandu Backlund belt, you're getting what I believe is the original belt's fully realized potential. You're getting razor-sharp etchings, crisp, almost high-definition flag and crown, crystal-clear lettering, a thick eagle in the center of the belt, stretching its wings without the avian stigmata, sparkling gems, incredibly detailed side plates with thickness to match, and an almost blinding gleam. This truly is an awe-inspiring championship belt, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is a solid and affordable belt, mass-produced by a very reputable company. In short, I'll end by simply saying, thank you, Fandu. And thanks for watching.